Hello and welcome back to Popcorn Chat. I hope we're all doing well. In this week's video, I'm going to be running through some books that I think have got very good film adaptations. So the first book I wanted to mention, it currently has a bookmark in as my mum is currently reading this. And it's one of my favourites, and that is One Day, which is written by David Nichols. I just love the way that David Nichols writes. I think it's so engaging. I actually saw the film before I read the book, and then I watched the film after I read the book. So I read this during lockdown, in the first lockdown, and absolutely fell in love with it. I couldn't stop reading. I loved the short chapters. And then in hindsight, watching the film again, I actually realised how they do it pretty much true to the book. However, I don't think it transcribes as well as it does on the page. But they get it beat for beat pretty much. Maybe casting Anne Hathaway wasn't grand. But generally, I think this is a great adaptation from the book, and they definitely get David Nichols' vision from the book very, very well. But I do recommend go back and read the book if you've maybe seen the film or not seen the film. Go and read the book first. You'll fly through it. It's grand. It's one of my favourites. Another book which I think was excellently adapted is Never Let Me Go, and I'm sure we've all heard of this one. So the film stars Andrew Garfield, Keira Knightley and Carey Mulligan, and I absolutely love this book. If you're into your sort of quirky sci-fi's dystopian kind of future, you'll really, really enjoy this book, and I think they do it justice with the film. It's quite, it's very much a saddening, melancholic kind of situation that these characters are living in, and, the world that they are unfortunately sort of brought into, and the purpose for them being in this world. But I think it's done perfectly in terms of an adaptation from book to film. Next up, we have Good Omens, which isn't an adaptation to film, it's to the TV show. I was a bit late coming to this. I read this when I knew that they were making it into a TV show with David Tennant, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with it from the first few pages, with the style of writing, the comedy coming through. And as I watched the TV show of Good Omens, I could feel it literally being lifted from the page. They got it almost, word for word. I said to my mum as I was watching at the time, I said, this is an excellent adaptation of the book. They've got it spot on. In terms of the visuals, maybe there's some things I wasn't completely 100% sold on. However, I think they did it perfectly, and a TV show is perfect for this medium. Yeah, I think it works better than a film, so I'm glad they did it into a TV show for this one. And I really want to jump back into this book. Some point this year I'm going to get back into this, but Good Omens TV show is excellent. They're doing a series 2. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that one. We shall see. But do check out Good Omens, the book, and then the TV show. I've harped on about this film and how much I love it so much, but you definitely need to go and check out American Psycho, the book version. This was obviously what inspired the film. I find the book fascinating. I don't want to say I love it in the sense of how sort of violent and disturbing it can be at times for some people. In comparison to the film, I think it was adapted in a much more accessible, mainstream way. Yeah, I think it's a great adaptation. If you're looking for more of a gruesome, kind of violent, disturbing world that some people, may have lived in sort of the Wall Street era in the 80s, then do look at the reference material. However, I think the film is excellent. Everyone plays their part in that, and I'm just fascinated by the world of American Psycho. You can go and check out my other video where I spoke about the book, the film, and the musical that I was able to see, to hear a bit more of my thoughts in that. But I think they got this spot on in terms of adapting the book to a screenplay. So the final book I wanted to mention is one that I read earlier this year, and this was given to me by a friend, and I'd seen the film before reading the book, and I thought it was excellent. So my 5th book is Room. I'd seen the film a few years ago, and I know that most people like to do the book and then the film first, but I just happened to do it this way. And the fact that they got the author, Emma Donoghue, to be involved in the screenplay, you can really see that. It feels completely lifted from the page. The book is from the perspective of Jack, the child, It can be frustrating at times hearing it through a child's perspective, but if you stick with the language, you get a lot out of this book. There's certain things that I couldn't remember from the film that they go very much into in terms of Jack's mother and sort of how she is towards later in the film and how she's coping with her mental health. I think this one's excellently sort of describes it a little bit better than the film. This is very much like Good Omens and One Day in the fact that it just lifts it from the page and, you know, pays homage to the source material. And I think what this book does better compared to some other ones I've mentioned is the fact that they got the author involved in the screenplay. If you like the film, you won't be disappointed with the book. So there you have it. There's 5 books that I think have been well adapted from the book to the film or TV material. Let me know if you've read any of these books and seen the film or TV show, and how do you think they compare? Do you think they're really well done, or do you think they could have been done better? Let me know down in the comments, as I'd love to check those out. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you soon in another popcorn chat.